Hi, and welcome to ProForce. I'm your host, Dave Smith. You know, as important as understanding your patrol responsibilities is knowing and understanding the general duties of the private security officer. Now, this program will explain the differences between policies, rules, regulations, and procedures. Now, remember that policy is a statement, written or oral, that relates the thinking, interests, and philosophies of an organization. Rules and regulations are the means of controlling and defining activities and behaviors. And procedures are a series of tasks that comply with policies and rules and regulations designed to control the performances of specific activities and promote uniformity and efficient action. Then we'll talk about the types and importance of security barriers and whether they are natural barriers or man-made barriers. Now, this program will also include some instruction on the principles of alarm activation. Now, in other words, how alarms are set off. Now, this happens by breaking of an electrical circuit or the interruption of a light beam, detection of vibration, detection of motion, penetration, that is breaking through a wall or a window, something like that. Now, this program would not be complete without talking about access control systems, and we'll explain why vehicles are controlled by markings, why passes are often used to allow visitors and outside service personnel onto organizational property, how logbooks are often used to control access, why tickets are a form of access control, why escorts are often used to control the movement of visitors and service personnel, how packages are controlled by placing tags or markings on them at the entry point, and then we'll explain the key or card systems. Now, this section will show the difference between the change key or single key, the master key, the grandmaster key, and electronic card systems. Now, during this program, we'll also explain the importance of security posts. And finally, we'll discuss the process of preliminary investigation. We'll give you an easy way to remember your responsibilities during a preliminary investigation. We're going to key on the word preliminary. Now, this spells out the task to be performed. P means proceed to the location. R means render assistance. E, effect an arrest if it's appropriate. L, locate the victims, witnesses, and the complainant. I, interview the victims, witnesses, and complainants. M, maintain the location. I, interview suspects if that's appropriate. N, note the conditions at the location. A, arrange for a collection of evidence. R, report the incident. And Y, yield to supervisors or specialists. Now let's start this program with policies, rules, regulations, and procedures. A security officer is part of an organization's team effort to protect people and property. Every organization has security policies, rules, regulations, and procedures. The labels may be different, but there are basically three types of guidelines. Policy is a statement, written or oral, that tells you the thinking, interest, and philosophy of an organization.
Hey Dave, what's going on?
Not much. Rich, how you doing, bud?
Hey, what are you doing smoking back here? You know it's a non-smoking area. It's company policy, that's why they put the signs up.
Man, I've been smoking back here for 10 years.
There's lots of flammable stuff out here. Your violation of the policy, I need you to put the cigarette out.
Now, why is policy important? It reduces and hopefully eliminates employees from taking actions or not taking actions because of a lack of information. It promotes uniformity because security officers who understand the organization's position on issues are less likely to overlook, forget, or misinterpret the policy. Now, it can serve as a useful training opportunity to acquaint the security officer with the organization's objectives. Rules and regulations are a means for controlling and defining security activities. In other words, rules and regulations tell you what you may not do in the course of your job.
You're not going to make an issue out of that, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Back here. All right.
I need you to put the cigarette out now.
How are rules and regulations different from policy? They are definite in identifying the duties of security officers. They are set cannot be changed except in unusual situations, and, I want to repeat this, normally tell a security officer and other employees what they cannot do. They are in authoritative language such as you cannot, it is not permitted, or terms like that. Now, procedures are a series of tasks that comply with policies and rules and regulations and that are designed to control the performance of specific activities and promote uniformity and efficient action. Now, what we are saying here is that procedures tell exactly how to do a specific job.
The reason I have both of you in here this afternoon is I saw an incident report that you filed, Richard, about a week ago regarding some smoking.
Right.
In an area where there was a non-smoking sign posted, I believe. I wanted to have you come in and give me a real brief description of what happened that day.
Okay, well, today about 11:30, Dave was back there smoking a cigarette in the workshop area. This is the third time I've caught him, twice this week, once last week. I told him it was a violation of the policy, and today he got a little, I had to tell him to put the cigarette out. He got a little apprehensive with me.
So as I understand it, he is now aware that there is a company policy against smoking in that area.
Right.
And you did inform him that he was in violation of that policy?
Yes, I did.
And he also now knows that violation of that policy is subject to disciplinary action?
Right, I told him that too.
Now, how do procedures differ from the other two guidelines? Well, they are usually concise and provide step-by-step instructions. They provide uniformity for security officers, such as ensuring that each post or patrol activity is performed in exactly the same way on every shift. Now, the three guidelines are connected, and you need to understand how they work together. Now, let's watch the situation again.
Hey Dave, what's going on?
Not much. Rich, how you doing, bud?
Hey, what are you doing smoking back here? You know it's a non-smoking area. It's company policy, that's why they put the signs up.
Man, I've been smoking back here for 10 years.
There's lots of flammable stuff out here. Your violation of the policy, I need you to put the cigarette out.
You're not going to make an issue out of that, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Back here. All right.
I need you to put the cigarette out now.
Remember, a policy could say, employees are responsible for obeying all fire ordinances. You could have a responsibility for enforcing a specific rule or regulation which says employees will be subject to disciplinary action if they violate fire ordinances. And you could have a procedure which says a security officer will immediately inform the employee of the fire code violation and ensure that the unsafe act is stopped, and then report the violation to the security officer's supervisor. Now, you must make sure you have read and understand all the policies, rules, regulations, and procedures, and you also comply with them. Now, if other employees see that a security officer is violating a rule or regulation, for example, now, they are less likely to want to obey it. The result may be the loss of property, or worse yet, loss of life or injury. Now, just one more simple illustration may help you understand the way that policies, rules, and regulations, as well as procedures, can work together. A policy could say, security officers patrol from point A to point B. A regulation or a rule could say, security officers should not stop except for emergencies when going from point A to point B. A procedure could say, security officers must go from point A to point B 2 times each hour. Okay, enough about the three guidelines. Now let's move on to security barriers. Barriers have been used for centuries to stop people from entering locations in the first place, and also to stop them from exiting quickly. Now, there are basically 2 types of barriers, natural and man-made. Some examples of natural barriers include water, and in some cases this could be man-made, mountains, cliffs, canyons and other types of land formations such as swamps, wide stretches of flat open land, and deserts. Now, some examples of man-made barriers are fences, walls, windows, doors, locks, and alarms. Both natural and man-made barriers have some common objectives. First, they define the property boundaries of an organization. Now, in some cases, the outer boundaries are identified by just a sign, but in most cases, the boundaries are identified by a fence. Second, they deter or stop entry unless authorized, and they encourage people to follow the established procedures for entering. Third, they delay or at least make difficult the opportunity for illegal or unauthorized entry or exit. Fourth, they direct the flow of persons and vehicle traffic. Now, you often see fences or bushes that control where traffic can go. 5, they allow for more efficient and effective use of security forces. If the boundaries are made clear by barriers, it is easier to guard an enclosed area than a wide open space. Our next subject is the principles of alarm activation. These principles are important for you to know since alarms are, in many locations, one of the greatest allies of a security officer. Let's look at a few ways alarms are activated. First, the breaking of an electrical current. This is probably the most common alarm and is usually found in doors and windows. Alarms that go off when a person enters or leaves through a door or window are usually caused by breaking an electrical circuit. Second, interruption of or passing through a light beam. This is often used for areas inside a building. The term electric eye describes this principle of activation. Third, the detection of vibration. Windows, ceilings, and floors are often protected by these alarms, and noise vibration will activate them. Fourth, the detection of motion. Sound waves are set up normally inside an area, and any unusual motion disturbs the sound waves and sets off the alarm. And finally, penetration. A good example is a filing cabinet, and when it is opened will sound an alarm. Now, you need to remember that when an alarm sounds, it's not important to know what technology was used, but that it means someone has or is about to gain entry to an unauthorized area or object. Now, you must be aware of the procedures you should follow after the alarm sounds. Now, go through these procedures with your supervisor. You can carry out your general duties better with a thorough understanding of the access control system. Now, being able to control access is an important key component of most security operations. Now, here are some widely used systems for controlling access. Now, how do you control access when it comes to a vehicle? Vehicles are usually controlled by having a sticker on them that indicates they can come onto an organization's property. And the sticker may assign the car to a certain parking area, or in some cases, a specific parking space. Now, if you observe a vehicle without a sticker or in an unauthorized parking area, the vehicle license number and description should be recorded and additional action taken in accordance with the procedures. Some organizations now control access to parking by having security officers at the entry point or having issued electronic cards to authorize persons and vehicles to enter. The next control system we want to discuss is badges or ID cards. Now, badges or identification cards are often used to control access to an organization's property. Some ID badges have photos of the person on them, or some are color-coded, and some have both a photo and a color coding. Now, at some facilities, entry is controlled by cards which the employee uses to get into the facility. Many of these cards are coded to identify who the person is and the time and date they enter or leave the facility. Passes are often used to allow visitors and outside service personnel, such as telephone company representatives, those type of people, access to a specific location. Now, in many organizations, they must return the pass when they leave. You must be aware of the procedures to be followed in your own particular organization. Well, since we're talking about visitors, logbooks are often used to register and control access. Now, in many organizations, the security officer or a receptionist is responsible for keeping this log. Now, some procedures will require the person to show identification, such as a driver's license, in addition to signing the log and giving the reason for the visit. Now, tickets are another form of access control. The most common is, for instance, at an athletic event. Or if you're working at a game, it's always important to make sure that the ticket presented is the right one for the game. In some cases, you might be required to make sure it is the specific section or seat at the event that the person's in. Returning to visitors, escorts are often used to control the movement of visitors as well as service personnel. And in some cases, organizational employees must be escorted. Escorts are often used for controlling access to areas containing classified or proprietary information. Another access control system deals with package control. Now, packages are often controlled by placing a tag or a marking on them at the entry point. Now, you must be aware of the procedures utilized by your organization. Sometimes the procedures will let you look into the package before or after entry into the facility. Do not look into packages unless that is the procedure used at your organization. Now, let me point out, again, that understanding the difference between the access systems will help you to do your job better. Now, let's go over them. The key card system. And key card systems are an important part of security at a facility. And while there is a trend toward card systems, the traditional key is still used by many security officers. Keys come in many sizes and types. Now, one key may, in fact, enter many doors, and another key will only get you into one door. Security officers must understand the capabilities of the keys they have and others used at specific facilities. Usually, keys are grouped by the type. Now, as an example, a change key or a single key is used to give access to a single door or a door that is similar to one another. This type of key might be used for all outside doors to a building. A master key is a key that will open one or more doors and usually permit the entry to specific areas. For example, one floor of a large building might have a single master key, or a single department in an organization might have a master key for all those doors. A grand master key will permit entry into a wide variety of areas. For example, if there is a multiple floor building, a master key might be used on an individual floor and a grand master key used throughout the building. The term card can be substituted for key in all these examples. The important point is that you need to know the type of key or card you are carrying and understand that the loss, misplacement, or theft of a key or card is of great concern from a security standpoint. Now, one missing Grand Master could jeopardize the entire security system and require a complete rekeying or reprogramming of all locks in your organization. The next topic in this general duties program deals with understanding the different kinds of security posts. Security officers are usually assigned to either fixed posts or patrol posts. Fixed posts are normally of two types: security posts and receptionist posts, or a combination of those two. Now, a security post is at a desk or a console that is used only for security purposes. It is usually in a secure area away from the public. A receptionist post is a desk or console in a public area of a facility. Now, in these settings, the security officer often acts as a receptionist or information person. Now, there is also a combination of the two. In many organizations, security officers are assigned to a security post, and during hours when the facility is open to the public, and to a receptionist post at other times. Equipment at a fixed post will vary. Now, this goes from location to location, but some items generally need to be available at these posts. First and foremost, a telephone. This that's very important, and it should include emergency numbers list right next to it. A radio should be present. And telephone books, as well as local and for the organization you're posted with. Policies, rules, and procedures of the organization should be present. A logbook and report forms also should be there, as well as access and alarm monitors. In many organizations, fixed posts are equipped with consoles and monitors to let technology work for the security officer as part of the security system. New applications of technology occur almost daily. Now, here are some examples of how technology can help you. Video cameras can be used to record persons entering or leaving areas. Video cameras can be used to pan or scan large areas such as parking lots or storage areas. Electronic scanners can check identification cards. Electronic scanners can check boxes that are delivered or carried in. And then there are computers. Computers can perform a lot of functions for the security officer, like lock and unlock doors, record exits and entrance into building areas, monitor fire sensors, monitor alarms, turn off lights and turn on lights, start and stop equipment, set and monitor temperatures in the building, provide a direct link to other security officers, public law enforcement officers, and other emergency agencies. But the most important part of a fixed post is you. With proper equipment and training, you can be the quarterback of the security system. Well, now let's move on to preliminary investigations. Preliminary investigations are often conducted by security officers as a part of their routine duties. However, in some organizations, there are specialists who will be used for that function. Now, you should make sure that you know the policies, rules, and regulations, as well as the procedures that are in effect as to how much of the preliminary investigation you are permitted or expected to perform. Now, the word preliminary spells out the tasks to be performed in the investigation. Now, here's what I mean. The P stands for proceed to the location. R means render assistance. E means effect the arrest if it's necessary. L means locate victims, witnesses, or complainants. I means interview the victims, witnesses, or complainants. M means maintain the location. I means interview suspects if they're present. N means note conditions at the location. A, arrange for the collection of evidence. R means report the incident. And Y means yield to supervisors or specialists.
Help! Somebody help! I've cut my hand!
Dave, hold your hand up. Hold your hand up. Hold it up. Elevate it.
Jesus.
Hunter, call 911. We need an ambulance out here. He cut his hand. Hold it. Stay calm. We got help coming. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good.
Were you around here at noon when Dave cut his hand on the radio saw?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was.
You were? Did you see what happened?
No, I didn't see it happen, but I heard it. I heard him scream.
You heard him. Have you ever used that saw before?
Yeah.
You ever had any problems with it?
Well, as a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, I had it jam up on me once or twice.
Had it jammed up? Did you tell anybody?
No, I didn't.
Okay, yeah, I'll need to report it. You know, I'll make sure if something's wrong with the saw, we get it fixed so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I should have reported it.
Okay. So you don't know whether he was just not paying attention or what?
No, like I say, I didn't see the accident, but so I don't have any idea how it happened
just heard
exactly.
him. Okay.
Well, now let's go through the word preliminary one more time with explanation. Proceed to location in a safe manner. Render assistance to injured persons. Locate victims, witnesses, or complainants. Interview the victims, witnesses, or complainants. Report the incident fully and accurately. And now for a brief summary of this program. We define and explain the differences regarding policies, rules and regulations, and procedures. We identified the two types of security barriers. We went over the principles of alarm activation and access control systems, and then we covered key card systems. And finally, security posts and equipment needed were reviewed and the tasks necessary to perform an investigation were outlined. Now this concludes this program on general duties, and we'll see you next time on ProForce.